All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High Yahawah. He is the Ancient of Days. He exists. Secondly, to his only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI, to whom was given all power, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, who will save us and change us out of our vile bodies. And thirdly, to the Rakakadash, which is the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth. I'd like to give double honors to the elders at GMS who rule well and who taught me this truth. And I'd like to say Shalom to you Akim and Akwat out there listening. All right. Okay, and hopping right into it. The fact of the matter is, all hell is set to break loose. Okay, that's just ultimately what the fact of the matter is. Okay, all prophecies that lead to all hell breaking loose, okay, are currently being fulfilled. Okay, all prophecies are pointing to all hell breaking loose, right? These current events that are going on, okay, are all biblical, right? And I'm gonna touch on everything as far as these prophecies, these current events that show us that all hell is set to break loose. Okay, there's really not much left to happen but for all hell to break loose. Okay, that's just where we're at, right? And I'm gonna go into the current events that are happening that are showing us the times that we're living in. Okay, we're here. Okay, we're literally the prophecies are literally set for all hell to break loose. Okay, going into Revelations chapter 7, 1 through 3. Let me just go ahead and grab it, right? But we're here, right? All right. Okay, Revelation chapter 7 from the top. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth. Okay, so all across, planet Earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. Okay, what wind are they holding back? Right, going to Jeremiah, the 51st chapter from the top. Okay, it speaks of the destroying winds. Okay, and these are those destroying winds that are being held back. Okay, what are they being held back for? Verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. Okay, so going into the lesson, right, and touching these current events, which are biblical prophecies taking place, those destroying winds are so close to being released. Okay, those destroying winds are so close to being released, which means that all hell is set to break loose at any moment. Okay, literally any moment. Okay, all hell is set to break loose, right? And I'm gonna grab these, go into some of these current events, right? And I'm probably break this lesson up, but all hell is set to break loose. Okay, so the first current events we're going into, okay, is pretty much Biden's plan when he gets into office. Okay, and starting off, we can see how this transition for Biden to get into office, okay, this has been a very what do I call it, I'm blanking out on the word, but we got Trump who's saying that he's not ready to leave office, even despite impeachment efforts. Okay, you got the civil war at an all-time high after the coup on the Capitol on the 6th. Okay, you got roughly 20 to 25,000 National Guard troops that are locking down the Capitol right now at this very moment. Okay, and not only that, there are also National Guard troops deployed over at least 21 other states. Okay, and this is the information they've came out and told us thus far. right? So we don't necessarily know exactly how many National Guard troops are also deployed at, the rest of the 50 states, right? But they came out and said that at least 21 of the states, okay, National Guard troops are deployed at the state capitals, okay, because they're expecting more protests from these Trump supporters, okay, and these insurrectionists, right, on this inauguration, okay, and thereafter, right? And I'm gonna grab the articles going into it. But first I want to touch on, Biden's plan, okay, once he gets into office, okay, and he's been heard to say numerous times, okay, he wants to have 100 million shots, okay, in the first 100 days of his presidency, okay, or in other words, he wants 100 million shots in the first 3 months of his terms in office, okay. But the fact of the matter is, Biden's plan, okay, uses FEMA and the National Guard troops, right? His plans for distributing these hundreds of millions of vaccines, okay, these mass inoculations, okay, you're gonna see in these articles, right? But it requires the use of FEMA, okay, and National Guard troops, okay, which is martial law, okay, because this is what's gonna take place, leading up until once they lock this place back down, right? They already had these troops deployed, okay, 25,000 at the DC Capitol, okay, and have other National Guard troops deployed strategically over 20 and 21 other states, okay. And I'll have a map showing which states those are, okay, and then I'm gonna grab it, but this is just, it's martial law, okay. This is what this country is headed to, okay, and it's headed to sooner than later, okay, sooner than we expected, or shall I say just sooner than later, okay, because we've been ready for them to lock this place back down, because we know once that happens, once that happens, martial law, okay, that's pretty much the end, okay, because then we understand that also going into the lesson, they're gonna rapidly push this mark of the beast, which is this microchip, okay, and World War III is gonna pop off, okay. And during World War III, in the midst of World War III, our Savior Yahawah is gonna return to beam up his elect, okay, and to destroy the rest of these nations, okay. But this is how close we are to salvation. That's why Scripture says your salvation is nearer than when we believed, okay, because we're close, right? And not only that, right, we're closer than ever to receiving spiritual powers, okay, because once this enemy comes in like a flood, right, we see the National Guard troops deploy, okay, and it's only a matter of time to when Biden, okay, actively uses these troops, okay, in the use of FEMA, right, to distribute these vaccines, okay, and to lock this place back down again, right. But once they move in on the Most High's elect, okay, what's going to happen? He's going to lift up that standard, right? When the enemy comes in like a flood, he's going to endow his elect men with spiritual powers, okay? And this is how we're going to be protected in these times ahead, right? Along with divine intervention from the angels, okay? And this is how we're going to be nourished for a time until Yahawah returns, okay? This is how we're going to eat in these times. This is how we're going to drink, okay? Because there is a famine. There are famines that are also set to hit this year, and this is through the Spirit, this really could be that year, okay? Because we can see how all hell is literally set to break loose, okay? So, enough of the ranting, okay? But let's go ahead and jump into, these articles, right? Okay, so Biden's plan is 100 million shots in his first 100 days, okay, and his plan uses FEMA and the National Guard troops. All right, okay, and they're calling, and then this article is titled "Biden's Overwhelming Force Doctrine." Okay, I mean, you're gonna see why it's an overwhelming force, because he definitely plans on using these troops. Okay, so let's read a little bit. President-elect Biden has ordered up a shock and awe campaign for his first days in office to signal as dramatically as possible the radical shift coming to America and global affairs, his advisor tells us, right? This global shift, okay, what is it? going to be these more draconian measures, okay? These draconian laws. The Insurrection Act been passed, okay? Section 230 of the Communication Deficiency Act, okay? Which I'm going into that as well too, right? Which pretty much ultimately just restricts freedom of speech, okay? These are the more draconian measures that we're coming into, okay? So continuing on, the plan part 1, Biden, as detailed in the first 10 days memo from incoming Chief of Staff Ron Klain, plans to unleash executive orders, right, federal powers, and speeches to shift us to a stark national plan for 100 million shots in 3 months, right? So they're going to unleash executive orders, right, and federal powers, okay, because they're going to unleash these draconian, these stricter, harsher laws, okay, and measures, okay. And the first bullet point reads, a federal mask mandate on government property and for interest travel, Biden's 100-day masking challenge, right? Expand neighborhood access by activating local pharmacies, working directly with both independent drugstores and massive chains, right? And we know Walmart, right? They can easily turn Walmart, okay, into a FEMA location, right? Because, they're going to use these massive retail stores to distribute these vaccinations, right? This is what, this goes into, right? And it says, the third bullet point reads, reimburse states for deploying the National Guard to support vaccinations and provide additional FEMA assistance, okay? So they're going to literally use martial law, just like going into Trump's Operation Warp Speed, okay? Going into Trump's Operation Warp Speed, their whole plan was to use the military anyway, okay? So it just so happens that now we have a chaotic inauguration day set before us with all this insurrection and chaos going on, that they've deployed these National Guard troops, okay? It just so happens that it's around the same time wherein, they're set to lock this place back down, okay? The plan part 2. Biden plans a $2 trillion stimulus coronavirus plan plus the following executive orders to symbolize and solidify a substantial shift here in the bride. And it just goes into some more of the things that he plans on doing once he gets into office. But the main point, okay, is that they plan on using these troops, right? They plan on using these troops, okay, FEMA as well as the National Guard, for the deploying of National Guard to support vaccinations, okay? Let me click on this real quick. Reimburse states, okay? Okay, fact sheet. President-elect Biden outlines COVID-19 vaccination plan, okay? And it reads, effectively and equitably vaccinating the U.S. population will happen through stronger partnerships with states and communities, increased supply, more vaccination sites, and more vaccinators, okay? So the more vaccination sites are going to be these FEMA locations, okay? Once they turn these different massive retail superstores into inoculation sites, okay? Vaccine sites. And they're going to use the FEMA and National Guard troops to administer them, okay? And it says, and more vaccinators, okay? Who are the more vaccinators, okay? Because you have these healthcare workers, who are not, a lot of them who are not willing to take this vaccine themselves. And B, they're saying that these healthcare facilities are getting overwhelmed. Okay, so the point, the story that they're painting, or the picture that they're painting, is that there's not enough healthcare workers, or healthcare facilities to administer these vaccinations. So who are going to be these more vaccinators, right? These National Guard FEMA troops, right? The COVID-19 pandemic is getting worse by the day. More people are hospitalized with COVID-19 than ever before. The death rate is up almost 20%, and we're nearing 400,000 deaths total. At the same time, there's a new, more contagious strain spreading across the country, and we are woefully behind on vaccinating the U.S. population. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna skip around real quick. Okay, going into his plan somewhere. I'm gonna read this one. Create more vaccination sites. Okay, and it says stand up new, federally supported. Okay, because they're gonna have these troops administering them. Federally supported community vaccination centers across the country. Right. Getting as many people vaccinated as quickly as possible will require close coordination between the federal government and all states and territories. Knowing that not all states and jurisdictions have the resources to scale vaccinations at this pace or at the pace this crisis demands, right? And it reads, the Biden-Harris administration will leverage federal resources and emergency contracting authorities to launch new vaccination sites and to expand state and local efforts across the country. With the support of Federal Emergency Management Administration, okay, or in other words, FEMA, these sites will mobilize thousands of clinical and non-clinical, right, these troops, staff, and contractors who will work hand in glove with the National Guard and state and local teams. The program will be scaled based on what is working best on the ground for state and local partners in the communities they serve. Right, then it says fully reimburse state deployment of the National Guard to support vaccinations and provide additional FEMA assistance. Let's see what else it says. Okay, right. Okay, and then that's where I'm gonna end off on this article. Okay, but we can see how Biden the stage is set for Biden. Definitely plans on using these military troops. Okay, with this overwhelming force and these more draconian laws. To administer these vaccinations, okay, and they're going to move fast, okay. They definitely fully plan on moving fast, okay. You seen Operation Warp Speed, okay. They're saying that pretty much failed. Biden, you know, he got on Trump or whatever, the Trump administration, saying how, you know, in a time like this, pretty much, you know, where we need these vaccinations, you know, I believe only roughly, you know, 20 something to 40 million people have been vaccinated. Okay. And that's far behind the goal that they wanted to have achieved at this time. Right. So Biden plans on, you know, picking up the pace rapidly. Right. Okay. So let's go into this next one. All right. Let's see. Okay, Biden unveils COVID-19 vaccine plan with focus on mass inoculations, right? And we just seen how they're gonna pull this off, right? They're gonna have these, you know, these different superstores, these Walgreens, CVS, you know, Walmart. Okay, a lot of these places are going to be turned into vaccine distribution sites, okay? And they're going to use these troops, these National Guard troops, to administer them, right, with the help of FEMA. Okay, let's see what I want to grab from here, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna start here. Biden's remarks come as the country finds itself in the worst days of the pandemic, adding new urgency to the need to speed vaccinations, okay? Truthfully, in the comment goes, truthfully, we remain in a very dark winter, Biden said, noting the country is rapidly approaching 400,000 deaths. The vaccine rollout in the United States has been a dismal failure thus far, okay? So let's see, he has vowed to get 100 million people inoculated in the administration's first 100 days, and Friday said he was convinced it could be done, okay? The only way he's convinced it's going to be done is because they're going to lock this place back down again, enact martial law, and have these troops administering these vaccinations, okay? That's all, and they have reasons already to lock this place back down, okay? They could use this chaos from this civil war that they can see brewing from this election, okay? They can use these racial tensions that they're also creating as well, okay? You know, anything, right? And I'm gonna go into some of those things, right? As far as the civil war and these racial tensions concerned, okay? It says the current pace of vaccinations in the U.S. is not moving quickly, and Biden will need to ramp up efforts. As of Friday, more than 31.1 million doses of vaccine have been distributed, but over 12.2 million shots have been administered, according to data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Okay. So I misspoke earlier. So it says 31 distributed and 12 million administered. Okay, which is far behind, the number that they wanted to have around this time. Okay, going into Operation Warp Speed under Trump's presidency. Okay, let's see, because I'm gonna see if there's something else I wanted to grab from here. Okay, so let's go here. The Biden administration plans to use federal resources, including the Federal Administration, or FEMA, right, to launch new mass vaccination sites. Okay, the administration also plans to expand state and local immunization efforts across the country, including in pharmacies and in community health centers. Okay, so let's see. Okay, and it says, we are in a race against time, a senior Biden transition official told reporters Thursday. We know that healthcare professionals, essential workers, states, tribes, and our public health infrastructure have been asked to do too much with too little, right? Because going to Revelations 12 and 12, the devil has come down with his great wrath because he has a short time, okay? Yahawah is coming speedily, okay? The scriptures say the day of the Lord hasteneth greatly. So they have to hurry up and ramp up their efforts and their plans because they're literally running out of time, okay? So let's see. Let's grab this next article. Okay, Biden administration promises equitable vaccine access to Black and brown communities, right? You so-called Israelites, right? Negroes, Latinos, and Native American. Okay, because we can't forget they said we are the face of this virus. Okay, so this martial law, this lockdown, when they administer these vaccinations, okay, this is that great insurrection that's coming against our people. Okay, because we're the main ones who they're saying are more susceptible to this virus. Okay, let me just read the article. Okay, President-elect Joe Biden and his administration vowed to ensure Black and brown people get equal access to the COVID vaccine through mobile clinics, vaccination centers, and partnerships with local communities. Okay, because they also plan on using these leaders, these church leaders, and different religious leaders to continue to persuade our people to get these vaccines, right? Dr. Marcella Nguyen Smith said in Biden's first month of office, he will roll out an ambitious national vaccination strategy with the hopes of combating concerns with vaccine access and hesitancy among people of color who are dying from the virus at higher rates, right? Which is bullshit, right? Because we know that when do we ever die or are affected by anything higher at a higher rate than white people, okay, or than anybody else? Right, we're just naturally built stronger. Okay, we're built for tough. Right, we're just naturally more resilient. Okay, to these types of things. Right, which is why in these vaccinations, okay, they've done studies, right, where they've experimented on our people so much that they understand, certain things they can put in vaccinations that can hinder our people more than they would hinder other people. Okay, so it's all bullshit, right? And whether this vaccine is man-made or not. Right. Either way, it's still a pestilence. It's still a plague from the Most High. OK, going into, these chemtrails and things along that nature. OK, they very well could be, dropping, chemicals, on these people. Right. And we see these chemtrails. It's not much. It doesn't take much for them to put things in these chemtrails that strategically impact our people much more than they impact other people. OK, so let's continue.